Vaginal yeast infections are more common in women. It is also possible for men to get it when it affects the penis, and this is known as penile yeast infection. It is not as common as vaginal yeast, but they do occur. Penile yeast infections are usually caused by having unprotected sex with a woman who has vaginal yeast infection, and this can be prevented by wearing a condom during sex. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about what vaginal yeast infections are, the symptoms, the causes, the prevention, and also the treatment. Before we continue, kindly like this video so as to increase the visibility of the video to enable others also learn from this. Yeast infections are not considered as sexually transmitted infection, but it is possible to get it when you have sexual intercourse with a partner who has it. This is because the fungus that usually causes yeast infection, known as fungus candida albicans, are usually present on the skin, especially on moist skin. People can also get a yeast infection on their mouth, throat, and tongue, and that is known as thrush. Now, what are the symptoms of yeast infection? Number 1 is vaginal itching. Number 2 is swelling around the vagina. Number 3 is burning sensation when urinating. Number 4, pain during sexual intercourse. Number 5, redness, soreness, or rash in the vagina or around the vulva. Then number 6 is small cuts or cracks on the vulva. The symptoms for men are not pronounced, but you can see redness, white patches on the penis, then burning and itching sensation. Now let's talk about the causes of vaginal yeast infection. Vaginal yeast infections are caused by fungus candida albicans, and other factors that can cause vaginal yeast infections are: number 1, taking antibiotics. When antibiotics is taken over time to treat an infection in the body, it ends up killing or decreasing the amount of lactobacillus, which is the medical term for good bacteria in the vagina. These good bacteria keep the yeast in check. When they are killed, it can lead to vaginal yeast infection. Another factor that can cause a yeast infection is pregnancy hormone. Pregnancy changes the body's hormone. When this happens, it can disrupt the balance of candida in the vagina. The third factor that can cause a yeast infection is having uncontrolled diabetes. Women with poorly controlled blood sugar are at greater risk of having vaginal yeast infection. That's because high blood sugar impacts the bacteria in the urine. The fourth factor that can cause a yeast infection is having a weak immune system. If you have diseases like HIV or AIDS, your medication can suppress your immune system, thereby causing a yeast infection. The fifth factor that can cause a yeast infection is hormonal imbalance. Then lastly, stress. Now let's talk about the prevention of vaginal yeast infection. The prevention of vaginal yeast infection basically has to do with the care of the vagina. I already have a video on how to keep your vagina healthy. I'll be dropping the link in the description box below. There I talked about 9 tips to help keep your vagina healthy, which are the major tips to help you prevent vaginal yeast infection. While you go back and watch that video on how to keep your vagina healthy, the only tip I'll be dropping here is, if you know you're diabetic, ensure to always keep your blood sugar under control. That brings us to the treatment of vaginal yeast infection. Vaginal yeast infection can usually be treated in a few days using antifungal medicines. Medications will be prescribed according to the severity of infection. It can be medicated creams, tablets, or even suppository. Suppositories are those ones you insert through your anus or vagina. A good example of an antifungal medication that you can get over the counter that can be used for the treatment of yeast infection is called fluconazole. But it is advisable you see your doctor when you start having those symptoms to ensure proper diagnosis and treatment. This is where we come to the end of today's video. If you are just coming across my video for the first time, kindly subscribe to this channel, click on the notification bell, and also like this video so as to increase the visibility of the video. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and see you in my next video. Bye.